Hi, I'm Engineer Hoist, and today we're going to be taking a look at the power of the Primes Predaking. Well, we finally made it. Welcome to the final day of Predaking week. It's time to get these guys combined because we have already taken a look at Rampage and Dive Bomb and Headstrong and Tantrum or Torox and Razor Claw. We took a look at them individually and we got them into their combined modes. Now we've got a slightly different camera angle because this guy's going to be big and I need a little bit of extra room to be able to get him in shot, and we may even have to change the camera angle before we're done here. Okay, so before we get started getting them all combined, first thing to do, we have a couple of weapons here to combine. This is the gun that came with Rampage and Razor Claw. Again, it's all one set. I say it came with it, but it was intended for them. You can see there's a couple of ports here, a couple of pegs there. It just kind of combines together and boom, you're done with that. We'll set this off to the side. These are the guns that came or were intended for Dive Bomb. There's not a whole lot to it, but there's a little bit on the end. Well, yeah, they do come in two pieces and you put them together, but there's no real other use for it. I'm not entirely sure why they did that, but you can flip the back side down, and you're going to need that for when we attach them in Predaking mode. So again, we'll get these just kind of off to the side. Okay, so now the first thing to do, and this is the key piece. We talked about this in the Dive Bomb review. This is his backpack. So obviously we want the wings to give the full spread. Now what you do is it kind of rotates forward like that, and then these parts rotate up, and then you spin that part like that so that you have the yellow facing forward and backwards. It doesn't really matter which way that you do it. First thing that you do, you take one of your legs. We're going to start with Headstrong here, and this part goes and slides into the little slot on here just like that. And see, like I said, we're going to have to change this camera angle already. Maybe we can move it back a little bit and get Razor Claw out of the way. How are we doing? Yeah, it's still, we're definitely going to be changing the angles. Okay, and then you get the other leg. I think you know how this works. It goes just like the other one, slides in there, and boom, now you got his legs done. Predaking is standing on his own, and you can adjust the legs however you want. Now, we got to get Razor Claw attached to this guy. And these, you actually do want to be kind of back a little bit. And what you're going to do here is there's a couple little slots right in here, and he's got a couple little rails just underneath him, again with the black plastic. Probably not going to be able to tell, but it slides right in. And there's also a little notch here and a little tab which is going to plug into the little part that flipped down. Let's make sure his legs are out of the way, and in the process you'll probably end up flipping this piece in, but don't worry, you can flip it back out. So we'll just get him set on there. And just like that. Okay, and we do still want to keep those wings back a little bit. He's looking pretty good, honestly, already. For the arms, we saw this little rail before on Dive Bomb. That's how his backpack attached. And now we've got a similar rail here on the side of Predaking. Again, we can't really see it with the black plastic. Let's get the glare working. Yeah, there we go. We got a little bit of a rail right there. So we'll go ahead and get Dive Bomb, and we'll just line that up, slide it on, slide it down all the way that you can go. And now it will look a little weird. It looks like it may not go all the way because there is a little bit of a gap here. It's not going to show up on video, but if you get the toy, you'll see there it does go all the way in. It is intentional to have that little bit of a gap there. And then it's the same process on the other side for Rampage. We just slide that down, and there you go. Now what we're going to do on the back here is the legs just kind of, you can kind of tuck them in a little bit. Oh, one thing I forgot to do, there is a couple of pieces down here on the waist, and they just flip out. Kind of fills out his waist a little bit, makes it look a little bit not so thin. It's not important to the stability, but it does open up a little bit, and there is some interesting detail in there. But it gives you a little bit of place where you can tuck his lion legs back in. And then you fold the wings up, and there are a couple of tabs that go into these couple of slots here on each side. And it's not a real secure hold. And then finally you also do have the tab here on the legs, which goes into that wing there to try to help secure it a little bit. It still has a tendency to come undone, but it's easy enough to get back together. Alright, so now it's time to go ahead and get these guns on his shoulders, which were from Dive Bomb. Now, one thing I forgot to do is they actually go on before you fold the wings up, because they're going to go in this hole here on the shoulder. You might try to put it on this one up on this little ridge up here, but it doesn't fit. That's just a screw hole. The intended hole is over here on the shoulder. So what you do, sometimes it's easy, even though we folded the gun up before, sometimes it's easier to put it on without unfolding it, and just kind of slide that in there. And then fold it forward, and it does kind of flip a little bit. You can get a pretty good spot. We'll work that out later. And then go ahead and fold up the wing. Doesn't really capture the gun, but you can't put the gun on with the wing there. So we'll go ahead and untab all this, fold this back down. And I didn't really mention, but this does come in two pieces. It serves no purpose. I'm not sure why they couldn't just make that one piece. Somebody may find a purpose out there, but I haven't found one. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and shove that in there, fold that around forward, flip the wing back up, tab it all back together, try to get that one angled right, spin him around. Oh, and he's almost done. One last thing, this gun we put together earlier, got a nice little port there, plugs right onto his wrist there, and boom, there is the moment we've all been waiting for. Power of the Primes Predaking. And you totally can't see his legs because this guy is a monster. So let's go ahead and try to pan down a little bit. So there he is in all of his glory. Hey, I'm real happy for you, and I'm going to let you finish, but we got to do a comparison with our G1 reissue figure here. I got through the entire review, got it edited, totally forgot to do this, so we're doing it now. So this obviously is our Power of the Primes Predaking, and this is our G1 reissue Predaking. He's stickered up, he's not. And one of the most notable differences, as you can see, is everybody's opposite. So you got Rampage and Dive Bomb are opposite over here. Same thing, Headstrong and Tantrum are opposite over there. And what that is Power of the Primes Predaking is actually following the animation model, because this is the configuration in the animation, whereas this is the configuration from the original toy. Now, you could actually swap this around on the G1 as well, but this is the configuration that the instructions tell you to, so that's the configuration that he's in. It is possible to make some modifications on this guy to make him look more like that, where you switch the sides. That's not what I choose to do. If you want to, there's people out there, I think, with some instructions on how to do that. These guys, it's not too difficult because it's basically the same connection point. You could actually do that. The only problem is you have the holes in front. These guys, you do actually have to take some things apart with the hips to get them to actually work on the opposite side. But other than that, you can see it's very much just like you would expect. We've got the lion in the center. The heads look very cool. The original guy didn't have those big guns off to the side, so we did get that improvement here on the Power of the Primes. He's got the gun on Dive Bomb. We've got the gun on Dive Bomb over here. The feet, oh, we can't really see them on this guy, but they've got the basically gun cannons there, just like we've got on the feet for our Power of the Primes guy. And they look very much the same. We've even got down to the detail where his little crotch plate here had the little gold stickers there. It's mimicked over here. They really, I don't think, could have done a better job making this guy just a nice articulated, gigantic, upgraded version of this guy. They think they just did a really, really great job. Okay, now let's get back to the review. And this guy he's solid. He is solid. Some parts have a tendency to pop out a little bit, like the razor claw lion head there does tend to pop a little loose if you hit it wrong, but generally it holds together. But as far as all of his joints, they are super solid. I mean, listen to those ratchets there. He's got a pretty decent range of motion. You might have to adjust the wings a little bit to get him there. They can go out. You got a little bit of a swivel there. The hands open and close. Got a nice little waist swivel here. Good hip joints, nice ratchets. The knees have a ratchet. And he's even got outwards movement, ankle rockers. So you can get him into a pretty nice pose, even though I was talking about the ankles and rockers and stuff like that, and didn't show him off. There he is. Let's see if we can try to get him totally in the frame here. Let's back him up. We'll even slide the whole stage over. About as good as we could do, because I'm as zoomed out as I possibly can. We could probably even turn his head to where he's looking at you. So yeah, there's Power of the Primes Predaking, and man, he is a beast. He is just about the same size as that Combiner Wars Devastator, except this guy uses 5 figures to accomplish that, whereas Devastator uses 6. Now, of course, the dive bomb wings, which of course make these wings, but are also basically all of this torso midsection, even including down in the middle of that section there. So that almost acts as a 6th figure, and I think that's how they're able to pull this off with just 5. Essentially Voyager size figures. I know I didn't really do any comparisons, but I know other reviewers have. And these guys, they call them Voyager size, but they're, I'd say, just a tad bigger than Voyager. So yeah, this guy, man, he could be a little bit pricey, but you know what? He's way less expensive than some of those other third-party options, and I think he looks really good. He's nice and solid. I don't have any of those third-party options, so I can't tell you how he compares to them, except for the price tag. And I highly recommend getting this guy if it's within your budget, because he is quite impressive. And just imagine the gold on the wings, which, even if you don't go for the repro labels, 75% of the stickers are for the wings to give him that extra pop with the gold on the wings. It fills out a few other little details for the individual figures. But I do have the repro labels set coming. I'm not sure if I'll do another review of those, but I'll definitely be taking some pictures and throwing them up on my Instagram. So if you haven't done that, just go look up Instagram, Engineer Hoist. I'm over there. I know a lot of you guys have been finding me. The link will be in the description to head over there. And I think that's all we're going to do for Power of the Primes Predaking. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for this Predaking Week event on my channel. If you missed any of the reviews, there will be a link to the playlist in the description so you can follow the whole process from unboxing this guy, which we did live, and then going through each of the reviews of each of the individual figures, and then finally culminating in this combination and look at the combined mode of the king himself, Predaking. If you enjoyed this video and the series of videos and you haven't yet, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another Transformers related video. I'm Engineer Hoist. Keep rolling, my friends. Thanks for watching.